All right, so here we want to find the first five terms of this sequence. We have a subscript n equals 4 times a to subscript n minus 1 here. Okay, now this is what we call a recursive sequence. So what that means is that any term in the sequence depends on the previous one, right? So that's what the n and the n minus 1 means, right? So we actually do need at least one term in the sequence, right? It must always be given, right? So in this case, we'll say a1 is equal to -3, right? So then what would a2 equal, right? Notice in this case, n is equal to 2, right? N will be equal to 2, and then in the term itself, right, we would put a1, right? So a2 is going to equal 4 times a1 minus 1. But we know what a1 is, right? a1 is -3. So we can just plug that in here. We get -3 minus 1, which gives us -13. All right, so that's a2, right? Then what would a3 be? Right? a3 would be 4 times a2 minus 1. Okay, so remember the n represents what n is just a number. Okay, so you're going to make sure that you plug these in correspondingly into the sequence, right? But what we know what a2 is, right? That's why this is called a recursive sequence, because the next term, right, depends on the term right before it. Okay, so we get 4 times -13 minus 1. Right, 4 times -13 is -52, so we get -53. All right, so now we can do a4. In this case, n is equal to 4, and then n minus 1 would equal 3, right? So it will be 4 times a3 minus 1. But we just found a3, right, as the previous term. So that will be 4 times -53 minus 1. Right, this is going to give us -213. And then finally, a5, right, a5 would be 4 times a4 minus 1. So we'll plug in that -213 here, subtract 1 from it, and we should get the fifth term in this recursive sequence here, right? In this case, we get -853. So these will be the first five terms of this sequence.